As we keep inching closer to our rookie drafts, we here at Dynasty Nerds want to make sure that you crush it, that your picks are the best possible picks you can make. So we're going to look at several different things that we can do with these picks, several different options. And look, sometimes the best option is just to sit pat and do the consensus thing. But sometimes when they go left, you might want to go right. And we're going to talk about those options there. So let's talk about the 101. 101, we know that there's about an 80% hit rate typically with the 101. By far the best hit rate out of any of the draft selections that you're going to get. So if you have the 101, Ashton Genty, he's the consensus pick right now. Should you take him? Honestly, I don't care if it's a rebuild or not. Traditionally, the wisdom is you don't really want running backs in a rebuild. But when you have somebody that's as good as Ashton Genty, the running back, the position doesn't really matter. You take the best player available. And I think his career is going to be a very long career. So you stay with 101. You don't take a quarterback. You don't take Cam Ward. You don't take a wide receiver and go Burden or Tet McMillan, or, you don't even take tight end, even though we really like guys like Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. You stay there and you take Ashton Genty. However, there's a lot of people that like Ashton Genty. There's a lot of contending teams that might say, I feel like I'm a running back away. I really want Ashton Genty. So what would he be worth? Well, if you know that you're giving up something that is as close to a sure thing as Ashton Genty is, you ask for a king's ransom. You do not take just, yes, this is a fair deal. Screw fair. I don't care. I want a haul for a young running back that could be an RB1 for the next 8 years. I don't want to just take any running back. I want somebody elite. So if I'm giving that up, I need a pretty good package. Now, if you want to look at some specific players, you can watch a video that I recently just did where I talk about the player versus the veteran. And I talked about Ashton Genty versus Breece Hall and how I would want Ashton Genty, and I give the reasons why. Honestly, any package where I'm not getting Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson is going to be tough because I want an elite running back. Now, if I'm truly in a desperate spot and I'm like, it's going to be a bit, here's what I'd be looking to get. One, I would be looking at another early pick in this class. I still want to stay within the top 4 because I think some of these running backs truly are very good running backs that would be 101s in their own class. I think Travion Henderson would be. I think Omarion Hampton would be. So I still want one of those assets, but then I still need more. So if you're going to give me the 101 and I can get myself a 107, 108, okay, I'll do 104 and 107 or 108 for the 1-1. If they don't have another pick, that's fine. Okay, give me 104, your first next year, and an upside player that I like. And I don't mean just like oh yeah, he like Jalen McMillan. No, I need like a legitimate upside player. Can you give me a Jalen Waddle? Can you give me a Chuba Hubbard? Can you give me somebody else on top that is really going to help put me ahead? So I'm still getting a really good young running back, getting an additional first and a player I really like. And there's going to be some people that say that's way too much. And I don't blame them for saying that. But also, I'm not giving you Ashton Genty unless I feel like I can clearly replace the value and more of an Ashton Genty. So that's what I'm looking for. If I have pick in the 2 to 4 range, I see these all as pretty similar pre-draft. We'll see what happens post-draft, but pre-draft 2 through 4 is all pretty similar for me at this point. I think if you're trading one of these assets, I'd be looking in the dynasty startup range right around the like Drake London. I'd be looking for Brian Thomas, Nico Collins. If I'm at running back, I don't know. I would take Devon Achane. Even Breece is still iffy for me. Bucky and Jonathan Taylor, I wouldn't do it. So yeah, maybe Devon Achane would get it done for me. That's the type of range of player that I'm looking to get. If not, if people are offering you just picks, okay, I'll take the 107, 108. I'll take that range again. Plus, give me your 26 first. I want 2 firsts just to move up 4 spots, 5 spots. Like, that's what I want. If I'm in the 107 to 108 range, now things are getting a little bit less expensive, but I still want a really good player. So let's say it's a super flex league. I'm trying to see, like, can I get Baker Mayfield? I think that's a good target. Could I get Michael Penix in that range? Those are the kind of players I'm looking to get, because here you're probably taking a Shador Sanders. I would take both of those guys easily over a Shador Sanders or Jackson Dart. Even a guy I don't love, Trevor Lawrence, I would probably be willing to do it. So that's the type of range at that position. Tight end's going to be interesting, though. Tight end that's probably where you're getting a Tyler Warren, a Colston Loveland. So you would have to give me a pretty high end tight end, probably looking at like Rashee Rice, T. Higgins, Romo Dunze, those kind of players for that pick. And then if I'm down at the 112, probably at that point, I'm still looking to take the best available player. Could easily be in the draft, but if I'm trading it, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because it's what upside receivers do you like? Would you rather take a gamble on a DK Metcalf, George Pickens, or would you rather take a gamble on a Mecca Buka and Matthew Golden? Those types of guys. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. I would love to get myself a nice running back, a Josh Jacobs, if I'm a contender. And if that's your pick, you probably are. Can I get Josh Jacobs? Can I get James Cook? Can I get Kenneth Walker? Those would be the types of guys that I'm really looking to get. Now, let's remember, with those picks, we mentioned at the 1-1, you got about an 80% hit rate on those picks. On the 1 through 4, you're pushing 70% hit rate. So pretty solid hit rate on those picks. But after 4, the 5 through 12 range, you're looking at somewhere between 35 to 45%. So we're not even looking at a 50% hit rate after that point. So it's a true coin toss for that player to really truly be a usable asset for you. So I have no problem trading my later picks, even though this is a class I really like. There's a lot of players in this class that are really, really intriguing to me. But we know last year's class was a bit of an anomaly. Tons and tons of good assets there. It's not going to be that way every year. I do think this is a good class. I'd probably put the hit rate closer to 50 to 55%, but we still know that there's going to be plenty of players in the 5 through 12 range that are not going to quite hit for you. Now, with rookie pick strategy, knowing kind of those numbers that we just talked about, if let's say I have pick 110 and I have pick 112, what I am trying to do is I am trying to get inside that top 4, because I know at that point I have a better shot at hitting than I do at the picks later on. So I am trying to consolidate those assets and move inside of the top 4. Some places it'll work, some places it won't. But if it doesn't work, now I am trying to maybe move one of those assets for a future asset that I think will be inside the top 4, because everybody loves drafting. Nobody wants to have to wait a year. I have no problem moving back, but we also need to take some other knowledge that we have. And if you've been watching on YouTube, you are going to know this as well. The 2026 class is not a great class. Right now, there's some good quarterbacks in that class, but after that, it falls apart pretty quickly, especially at the wide receiver position. So if you need a receiver, I am making trades right now for receivers, or I'm taking a guy I really like in this class, because honestly, there's not many in this class, and 2026 is going to be just as bad. It's not till 2027 when we start to see what could be a potentially elite class. Running back wise, this year is your year for it. The next 2 classes over after this are not very deep. There are not a lot of high-end, crazy Ashton Genty guys at this point. There's always a guy that could jump. There's always a guy that could develop. So if you're looking at that position as a position of need, this is your year to do it. So maybe you actually, especially if you're a contender, look to do the opposite. Take my picks in 26 and 27 and push the chips all in a little bit more and say, hey, I want to make sure that I'm getting a running back that I believe in, a running back I like, or even taking some of those picks and getting an established veteran running back as opposed to taking a chance on a rookie. Can I somehow acquire Saquon Barkley? Probably not. It's tough. But Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, much more accessible assets that could be really useful players on a championship run. Tight end is always tough to tell early. It takes guys usually a little bit of time to break out. So it's hard to have a great feel on the future tight end classes, but it's really to know 2026, we've got some really solid quarterbacks. That's the year that you're going to really like quarterbacks much more so than 2025 this year. If you need wide receivers, 2027 is your year. If you need running backs, this season's your year. So running backs this year, quarterbacks next year, wide receivers the year after. And all the other positions other than that are just kind of meh. Not great, Bob. So let us know, what are you going to do with your rookie draft picks? Are you trading them? Are you saving them? Are you taking the best player on the board? Are you targeting a position? Let us know in the comments below what you plan to do with your rookie picks.